Hello everybody, Killatia here, and we are doing another video game review, this time Dungeon Defenders Awakening on the PC. One of those games I checked out back at PAX South earlier this year, and a game I really want to, check out for myself fully and give my opinion on. And I do have to say, I did have a lot of fun with this game. There's one lingering issue that's kind of stopping me from fully recommending the game to everybody. And we'll get to that a little bit later, but first, let's talk about the good things about Dungeon Defenders Awakening here. For the sake of a comparison, here's what the original Dungeon Defender looks like. Honestly, not too shabby, and not a bad looking game for something that came out around 2011-2012. And now here comes Dungeon Defenders Awakening. May not be a big leap in graphics, but it is, in my opinion, much better looking. The UI seems a bit cleaner, and it looks gorgeous in 4K resolution, if I do say so myself. The game does a decent job of holding 60 frames per second for the most part. Obviously, it will dip a little bit if it goes, if there's too much on screen, but other than that, I have no problem with the way the game works or runs. As far as the gameplay is concerned, nothing too major have changed in between the two styles. It's still the classic, put your towers down to defend the core, and if you really want to, go after the enemy yourself, no matter the cost. But there are some minor differences. For example, back to the clip of the original Dungeon Defenders game, you can see me hunting down the treasure chest to get the gems needed to create defenses around the map. But in Dungeon Defenders Awakening, at the beginning of each wave, you get the gems automatically, meaning less time to hunt and more time to set up your defenses and create strategies to defend your core. And let's be honest here, time is precious in this game, especially at the higher difficulty. Now, there are 4 different classes you can play here. The ones I'm showcasing right now is, of course, the mage, who can use his staff to fire projectiles and creates towers of magical origins. Basically, your all-rounder. There's also the knight, who can set up harpoons and even stronger shields against your enemies and prefer to be melee. You got the huntress, who can set down traps to explode in front of enemy faces and like to shoot away with her bowgun. And the monk, who also like to be melee, has some range attacks and also set up auroras around the map as well to slow down the enemies or weaken them up a bit or even get hit by an electric aurora. Sadly, none of the DLC characters from the original Dungeon Defenders made their way to Awakening, at least not yet. And that kind of ties into what I had an issue with Dungeon Defender Awakening. Its content. There's just less of it compared to the original. Now, to be fair, the original Dungeon Defenders had years of support after its release, both in free and paid DLC, especially if you played it on the PC side of things. And Dungeon Defender Awakening does have original maps mixed in with some of the older maps from the old games. I think 9 games from the original and then 6 brand new maps for Dungeon Defenders Awakening. I bring up the amount of content because when Dungeon Defenders Awakening was first released on Steam's Early Access, the developers were asking for $40. That seemed kind of high considering when the original Dungeon Defender came out, like back in 2011, 2012, they were only asking $15 at the time. And I think the developers of Awakening did realize they kind of made the price too high, because later on they did drop it to $30. But even then, the amount of content you're getting with this game compared to what was given in the original seems kind of pale in comparison. Now, do not get me wrong, I absolutely enjoy my time with this game. The graphics are great, the gameplay is as good as ever, I even managed to stream this game a couple of times because I really want to showcase just how good this game was to both my Twitch viewer and my Facebook gaming viewers. Honestly, it is a good game, and there is definitely some more content coming down, which includes Eevee from the original Dungeon Defenders coming soon with a completely new design, and if I do say so myself, I like this design a lot. But at the end of the day, with the amount of money you're paying versus the amount of content you're getting right now, it's kind of hard to recommend at this moment. However, I will say this, if they manage to do release more content for Dungeon Defenders Awakening, or lower the price even further from 30 to 20, then that would be a time where I would say, yes, go on ahead and get this game, because, like I said before, I absolutely love this game, and I want more people to enjoy it for what it is. Anyways, this is Killatia signing off, and hope to see you next time, hopefully with some more content from Dungeon Defenders Awakening. Adios, everyone.